Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Mekenzie. I'm 27, almost 28 years old, and I live in Indiana with my husband and our two cats, Luna and Thor. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the books that I read in the month of January. I love reading, I've always loved reading, and I'm very excited to share these books with you guys. I'm very big on romance novels, that's typically what I go for. But after I'm done reading the series that I'm on right now, I'm on book 2 out of a 3-part series, I'm going to get into ACOTAR. I've been told that that is a very good fantasy book to start off with because I've never read fantasy before, but I am interested in it. And I've heard that's a very good realm to start out with. So I'm very excited to start that. I've seen nothing but great things. If you like these types of videos and you like traveling and vlogs, like day-to-day life, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I have a lot of fun content coming up soon and a lot of traveling that we're doing this year. So make sure you're subscribed if you're not already, and let's get into today's video. So the first book I read this year and in January was Unfortunately Yours by Tessa Bailey. This is such a good read. I love Tessa Bailey. She's one of my favorite authors. The main character, Natalie, is an heiress to a vineyard. Her family owns this huge vineyard and she is engaged, ends up breaking off the engagement with her fiance. She has to go back home. She basically is leading this wine tasting event and she meets this man, August. August and her are sworn enemies. Every time they're in the same room, they're being mean to each other. They make nasty comments towards one another and they just don't like each other at all, okay? And August is in the winemaking business to help his best friend that had passed away. He basically took over the vineyard that his best friend had bought, and he's trying to bring legacy and respect to his late best friend's name. Natalie needs to start up her own company, and she has a huge trust fund set to the side, but her dad has made some negotiations with it. She has to be married, for one, before she can get her trust fund. So she decides, what if I just marry this guy, fake marry him, and I can get my trust fund? Because it'll be mutually, good. Because August also needs money and help to start the winery, to get the equipment he needs and all this stuff. It's very much an enemies to lovers, a slow burn. Okay, the next book that I read in January is Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. This book reminded me so much of Gilmore Girls in the way that the main character, Annie, just gives me the same vibe that Rory gives off, and they're in this small town. Everybody is very protective over Annie, just like how in Gilmore Girls everybody in Stars Hollow is protective over Rory. Annie is on a date with a guy and it's not going good at all. She's not very good with social situations. She's very awkward and doesn't have a lot of self-esteem. So she goes to the bathroom and she comes back to overhear her date talking to a friend saying how she's unbelievably boring. In walks in Will Griffin. He is the other main character in this book. He is Annie's future sister-in-law's bodyguard. So he is basically tasked with the job to make sure that Annie is the most eligible bachelorette in Rome, Kentucky. That's where this book is based off of. That's where they live. And, he's just trying to teach her how to go on dates. There ends up being chemistry between them. Everybody in the town does not like Will because it's a very small, secluded town, very much like Stars Hollow. He's got this bad boy reputation. He's got tattoos all up and down his arms. He runs through the town shirtless, so all the old ladies are pissed off at him basically. And everybody's just very protective over Annie. This is the Love and series by Jenna Welch. I read them in this order. Apparently that's not the correct order, but there's not even really a correct order because all of these stories are based off of different girls in different countries. So you can read it in whatever order you would like. Love and Gelato. So I watched this movie on Netflix before I read the book because if there's a movie out of a book, I typically like to watch the movie first, so that way when I'm reading the book I can hear those characters' voices and see them in my mind as I am reading, if that makes sense to you at all. So the main girl, Lena, her and her mom had plans to go to Italy together. Her mom ends up passing away, so her mom's dying wish is literally go to Italy, meet your father, spend time with him. And she ends up finding a diary of her mom's, and she ends up reading about her mom's own experience in Italy, and she goes to all these places that her mom went to try to make it feel like her mom is there with her. And there's a few twists and turns in here, some boy drama, a lot of girl drama, But this is a very good one. Highly recommend watching the Netflix movie first and then reading this book. Okay, so Love and Luck is about this girl, Addie. She is traveling to Ireland with her mom and her 3 or 4 brothers for her aunt's wedding. And Addie has gotten herself into some high school drama. There was something that she had done with one of the football players that was getting around. Her brother tried warning her about this football player. She didn't listen to him, and now word of what happened between them has gotten out around the school. This whole book is based off like a weekend trip, and just the whole time you're waiting to find out like what did Addie do with this boy, like what happened, what could have gone wrong. Eventually you do find out. She's supposed to go visit her best friend, and then she finds out that her brother is supposed to go with her. Turns out the day they're supposed to leave, he's not in the hotel room. She doesn't know where he is or what he's doing, so she goes out to find him, and then she sees him with this guy that she's never met before, but this guy and her brother are really good friends. They all set out on a road trip across Ireland. She finds a guidebook called Ireland for the Heartbroken, and so as they're going on this road trip, she's stopping at all these points and like doing all these things that this guidebook is telling her to do so she can mend her broken heart. And something very interesting happens at the end, and that's all I'm gonna say about it. Okay, this is Love and Olives. Ugh, this book, just even like talking about it makes me emotional as crap. Oh, this one, I bawled my eyes out to this book. This was like a heart-wrenching book for me. So this book is about a girl named Olive, but she goes by Liv now because she's in with the cool crowd finally in high school. She goes to visit her dad in Greece. Her dad was in her life until she was about 8 or 9 years old, and then he left to go find Atlantis, or at least that's what she thinks he went to go do. That's what she's told herself all these years. Her mom makes her go see him, so she is forced to go to Greece and to be living in this little like bookstore with this guy named Theo. Theo is the son of this girl that also owns the bookstore with her dad, and it's just basically about Liv trying to establish her relationship with her dad and try to figure out like where to go from this point because she's not seen him in almost 10 years, so it's just really hard for her to navigate. She decides to give it a chance, and they're finding more and more clues that they can prove Atlantis is real. They're trying to work on like a film together to prove it, and it takes a very scary turn at one point. She ends up in the hospital, and her mom has to fly in and see her, and it just broke my heart. I was bawling my eyes out when it got to that part of the book, but that's all I'm gonna say about it. So you should definitely read this book. This was my favorite book out of all of the Love and series books. So if I had to choose just one, it would be this one. All right, those are the books that I read in the month of January. I liked all of them. They were all really, really good. I do have a Goodreads account, so if you have a Goodreads, follow me on there and you can see what books that I'm reading and what books that I am like rating. I don't take rating too seriously. I honestly rate a lot of books like 5 stars. But anyways, I hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, give it a thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed if you're not already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!